Welcome back to Overexerted, a Disney Lorcana podcast. I'm your host, as always, Benny, and with me, as usual, is James, also known as Dan Regal. But
Hello.
tonight we're Heathless.
Heathless. Sounds like a little bit of a disease or something. Did you get that Heathless?
It almost sounds like a character from How to Train Your Dragon.
That is true. Oh man, what do we got here? We don't have our names up. Look, there we go.
Look at this. Whoo, fancy.
Yeah. Wow, look at that. We're professionals here. So what's been going on?
I guess there was a pretty decent announcement on a Lorecast recently.
There was another North American CCQ announced in Utah coming up next month, and I don't know if it was a new CCQ in Europe, but they did talk about one over there as well. And happening actually right now in China is their very first challenge.
Wow.
Not one of their, whatever they called them before that. I can't remember what the name of it was. But this is a real actual challenge happening with, I've seen pictures from it, and they've got like arches with ink symbols on it and stands, and they've got a nice big monitor with like the games showing on the monitor, and I mean, they got all kinds of cool stuff. Giant screen.
I'm interested to see what happens in Japan when they finally have theirs.
Yeah, right. It should be coming up soon.
From everything I've heard, like I'm a big Disney fan. I like Disneyland, but like from what I've heard, people are like, you see Disneyland with their animatronics, and then you see Japan, and it's like, whoa, hold on a second.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
I'm kind of interested. See if they go above and beyond.
I don't know who all else is there, but I did see the Zan Syed post a picture from China. So he's there playing Set 5 meta. Probably might be his favorite meta, because I think that's what he won Vegas with. Possibly. He's playing Emerald Steel. So
of course. With Chinese cards.
I mean, he knows what they all do, so it's not like he has to worry about remembering what the cards do. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
But we also had a Lorecast this week, which that's where they announced the new CCQ. There wasn't a whole lot announced on there. It was mainly just, chit chat and talking about things. There is actually a CCQ happening right now in Denver. It's starting tomorrow morning. Wow. So that'll be interesting. I watched a significant amount of I listened to mostly a large amount of the 5K today that they had, the precursor to the big one for the CCQ. And there's like almost 200 players and over 70 Blurple decks.
Oh my.
Just over 40% of the playing field was Blurple.
So that's 70 people that spent $400 on 4 cards, roughly.
Well, not everyone. I mean, some of them pulled a card here and there.
True.
Probably.
That's true, yeah.
But not everyone was playing Dumbos either. So got 4 of them. Who knows? It'll be interesting. So they had, not that this is much of a shocker at this point, they had some Ravensburger Play Hub issues. They played round one, and then they played round 2, and then they replayed round 2 because the Play Hub ate round 2 results. So they cut, instead of to a top 8 after 8 rounds, they cut to a top 16 after 7 rounds, and they played the top 16 at the end of the day. So tomorrow they're going to go in with the top 8 like they planned, but it's not fun. It's not. I mean, I know that there's been a lot of talk about it, and it's just looking, unfortunately, more and more like it's, I'm going to show my age here. It's not ready for prime time players.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
So,
if you're one of those people that lost in round 2, you're like, hey, I got a second chance here.
yeah,
But if you're one of those people that won in round 2 and then went on to lose in round 2,
you're like, you're probably walking up to the desk going, hey, can I have my money back?
yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like to be super negative, but it is looking more and more like the Play Hub is not quite there yet. So we shall see what happens in a few weeks with the Bologna and see how that goes on the Play Hub.
Mhm.
We'll find out. But right before the Lorecast, we had the new tournament rules dropped, all new, brand new font and everything. So
Wow.
if you want to see and read the whole thing, which I did not do yet, I will, but I have not had time to. But if you want to go see that, it is available in the resources section uh, of the official website. So you can head on in there and check it out. If you want to find out a little bit of the changes, we're going to go over that right now and talk about the summary. I think it was Snobby that wrote out a summary of all the major, pieces of the changes. So let's just get into that and let's talk about tournament rules changes that are coming up for the season that you need to know about. All right, first up, these are changes of things from last year to this year, just in an easy, digestible format. The first one is that we have added a new tournament level called Premier Play, which is now what is considered to be challenges and worlds and continentals and things like that. It is added to casual and competitive. So I'm guessing competitive is things like set champs and CCQs and other third-party tournaments and things like that are probably what would be considered competitive.
Mm.
I don't think there's anything shocking there. Having a third level lets them differentiate the rulings for those different things. Formats. The only thing new is Infinity Constructed is added as a format, and Pack Rush is added as a new limited format. Again, nothing surprising there. We already knew all of that. It's just now it's official in the tournament rules. Okay, this is new and different. Set legality and rotation. Last year, sets were legal 3 weeks after release. Then that would be in local game stores. And remember that game stores used to get a 2-week window where they had it before big box mass retail.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have a pre-release week in advance. So now this year, sets are legal at pre-release. So you can use new cards in a competitive tournament the week they're released. And then just officially noting that rotation is sets 1 through 4, rotate with set 9, 1 through 8, rotate with set 13, and so on and so forth. So that's going to be how things go from here. Do you like the change where things are immediately playable?
I guess yes and no. I mean, if you're a little more casual, it stinks for the people who are a little more casual because they're obviously not going to have all the cards right off the hop. But the people that are professionals are the people that we're kind of watching play the game. So
Right.
those are the people that are buying up everything as quick as they can to make sure they have that deck ready to go
Right.
at that event.
Or they have teams that can pool resources to buy a bunch of product to be able to get cards for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Open a lot of product like we saw with Forbidden Mountain, where they were able to scrounge up 17 cases.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Banned cards. None last year. This year, Hiram Flybersham, Toymaker, and Fortisphere are banned in Core Constructed. That is it so far. Those are the only bans we have. We knew that. That's nothing different. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Another new one. Match structure. Last year was Swiss using 2-game format with a bonus point. Single elimination used best of 3. Now, in 2025, we have standardizes best of 3 for Premier Play and Top Cuts. So that means every challenge in Worlds will be using best of 3, and all Top Cuts in competitive should use best of 3 as well. Swiss rounds may adopt best of 3. Bonus point system removed. Which, why would you use the bonus point system if you're not using best of 2? And a lot of people thought the bonus point shouldn't even have been in best of 2.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. And again, I think a lot of people are happy going back to best of 3. That I think that's the better format. I mean, I guess history will tell.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because I also kind of read ahead, so I'll kind of save my point for the best of 3 thing until we get to that point later.
Okay. I think we may have that discussion, later on about some stuff about best of 3. So next up, match and end of round procedures. Last year it was 5 extra turns after time, and in Swiss, points were awarded per 2-game format. So if you couldn't finish game 2 and you won game 1, you got all the points as if you won both games, I think. Did you? Or did you just get the 3 points? I think you just got the 3 points.
Yeah, I can't even remember anymore. I just know you got the win if you had the first round or something like
you got
that.
the win, but you only got the 3 points. That's actually was what happened to me in Atlanta. Is we couldn't finish game 2, and I only got the 3 points for the game 1 win. Now 5 extra turns after time. Swiss is draws if tied, and if it's during single elimination, lore comparison if still tied. So whoever's winning on lore, when time runs out, if it's a timed single elimination match, then you win if you're winning on lore, which I think was already in the rules. It's just not something that was used because the 2-game format didn't really need it. Okay. Next up, officials and roles. So last year we had tournament organizer, head judge, judges, scorekeeper, player, and spectator for, I guess, who was someone who could contribute to talking about what happened in a match. And now they have added broadcast representative. So casters are now officially able to contribute on any rulings calls, I guess. The head judge gains new authority, can issue proxies, deviate from policy in emergencies, and scorekeeping moves from Melee to Ravensburger Play Hub. So that's interesting, right? The broadcast representative?
Yeah, that's interesting, but also like the head judge being able to just issue proxies is kind of is that if somebody's missing a card, they can kind of say, "Hey, we saw that you had it," or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I think it's also because of something else that came up, which is it might be in here, but the art on. Oh yeah, there it is. It's coming up next in accessories. You can no longer have artwork on cards in competitive and Premier. So if you have one and you show up, then I'm assuming a head judge will be like, well, I can issue you a proxy for that, but you got to take it out if you don't have one. So something like that. Player operations, pile counting. Not addressed at all in 2024, explicitly allowed in 2025 with limits. So this is not pile shuffling. This is pile counting. This is so you can make sure that your deck is still the same amount of cards. You can do a pile count really quick. And I think it's per game is allowed, not per match. Intentional draws. 2024 allowed splits in the 2-game format. 2025 formalizes as intentional draws are 0-0-3 with strict anti-collusion rules. So I don't know how strict they are, but there was a lot of collusion happening in the 2 game format. So I
Yeah.
hope that this is something that is why they're addressing this and putting in strict rules, is to hopefully cut down on the amount of collusion that was happening.
I didn't get the collusion side of it. I got I was just shy of 30 points in Seattle, and the guy that I was up against in the final round, I beat him in the first game. And so I was like, well, I win second game, I got this. And then second game, he got like the perfect hand, perfect draws. I got not what I needed at all. And just as I was like, okay, I might have a chance to come back, I look at the board and he had two cards over here. I had taken out two cards here, and then like on the far side, almost like off the play mat, there was one last card that I had missed. And I was like, oh no, it's over. And then he's like, I quest, and congratulations, I concede. And so I was like, wasn't pre-collusion, but apparently
No,
he planned on just if he had lost that he was just going to give it to me, and I had planned on doing the same thing as well.
right,
Because either way, somebody should deserve to get 30 points instead of both of us sitting at like 28.
right, yeah, exactly. And that's not collusion. That's just someone deciding what they're going to do and then doing it without any
Yeah.
discussion.
Mhm.
It's when there was the what are the leaning over and being like, hey, that if one of us, if we tie, then neither of us gets 30 points, right? You
Yeah.
understand that, right?
I don't know. Even for me with that, it's like I can understand that. If somebody said like, "Oh yeah, if one of us wins this and the other person doesn't and we hit 30, how about the other person just concedes and then we will, give them 10 tickets or something like that."
Right. Yeah, yeah,
I'd say that almost feels more like collusion because you're getting something out of it. Where if you tell the person like whoever loses, the other person just drops. Does that work for you?
yeah.
But
I
I
think,
understand that that's probably still going to be
yeah, that
under
was
the
still, if the
anti-collusion.
judge overheard that, they'd be like, boom, you're out.
Yeah, yeah,
Just you match loss, whatever.
yeah.
Um, Okay, so then accessories, which is what we were just talking about, in 2024, only sleeves were regulated, and now they expanded it to playmats, sleeves, dice, lore counters, and deck boxes. And altered artwork cards are banned from competitive and premier. I saw a thing that said that signatures are okay as long as they are not blocking any part of the card and do not have like a doodle or something along with it.
Mm.
So basically, any form of artwork is not allowed, and only signatures can be used.
Sorry, Kendall Hale.
Yeah, right. And I think it's interesting that they did extend it to everything, because I'm assuming that there were playmats and deck boxes that maybe weren't wholly Disney appropriate being used, and so they wanted to be able to they wanted to be able to have it in writing so they could make people put those away.
Yeah, I
This one,
know.
go ahead.
I have a. I know I have a player locally who has a playmat that we've all said like, yeah, I'm pretty sure if you brought that to DLC, you'd probably get a little warning or a, hey man, swap out your playmat. And it's not even anything that's bad. It's actually like a scene from the movie. It's a scene from Atlantis when they're about to like go swimming. But you know,
Yeah,
it's kind of yeah, a little more risque than you'd want.
right. But it's in the movie. But yeah, but you're taking it kind of out of context. And okay, so electronic devices. This one is also very interesting. Banned at competitive level in 2024. 2025, allowed if visible. Companion app expressly permitted, the Disney Lorcana app for lore counting and for looking up cards. Penalties for hidden use. So you are allowed to keep it on the table if since it's going to be your phone, or other electronic device. If you are getting a phone call or a text message, the phone has to stay visible the entire time.
Mhm.
And if you are getting a phone call or need to make a phone call, you have to call a judge over in order to be able to step away and do that. So again, this is very interesting that they're going back on the no electronics. And again, I saw something. I think it was from Kyle in
Mhm.
the official Discord, say like, look, this is 2025. People have phones. We know that they're going to be wanting to use them, so let's just make it to where we control what kind of usage they are allowed.
Mhm.
And of course, the app being a good resource to have all the cards with the explicit text and sometimes the rule, little more info rule notifications for like little instances. I think that's a very good thing as well.
Yeah, I like just having it for the lore counter, but I understand why they didn't want people to have it. Um, I don't know. I think that anything that's all like not even just the companion app, anything that is taking score should have to be visible at all time
Right.
because we've actually had it at a couple DLCs where a guy had a notebook on his lap and then the guy's like, "All right, I quest out for 20." And the guy's like, no you don't. I have it that you're only at 19 right now." And it's like, "Okay, but I've been keeping track on the app that's clearly visible to both of us. Why wouldn't you say something?" Or, I've been keeping track on the I think he was doing paper because this is back before you were allowed phones, obviously. He's like, "So why wouldn't you say something when you see my paper saying that I'm at 18 hitting 20?" And you're like, "No, you're only hitting 19 because you're at 17." So I'm like, I
Time to
love
call
it.
it judge.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I know the guy that hit 20 was actually my buddy. So he's just like, "Okay, fine, go ahead, take your turn." And he's like, at this point, because he was telling me about it, he's like, at this point, it didn't matter. He's like, according to him, I was at 19, but he was at 5. So he's not going to
Right.
get 15 in a turn.
You think, unless he
Yeah.
was playing Sapphire.
He's playing, I think it was a Ruby Sapphire deck, but it was back in the days of B prep. So he was probably just hoping to top deck a B prep.
Right. Yeah. All
So
right.
who knows?
Well, I don't know. Just as a side, which I know most of us already do know this, but use pen and paper when you're at a challenge.
Yeah.
Mark all of your lore changes so that if there ever is a judge call, you can be like, look here. Here's where the lore is.
Yeah.
All right. Notes and info. Note taking in 2024 only lore tracking is permitted, and in 2025, players may use tokens for their own public info, not the opponent's. Numerical tokens limited to damage. So that means you can bring tokens that say, has ward, has evasive, has challenger or whatever, but you can't have challenger 2 because that's numerical. You can basically just put any little things out that you want that for that. And for tokens, I mean, to me, it sounds like I can put a token uh, on top of my deck if I want to remind myself to draw an extra card for Beast, let's say.
Mhm.
For if you're playing in Infinity and you have the sad Beast out. To me, that sounds like something that you could do, but I don't know if you can. It's a token. It won't have any numbers on it, and it's for my own info. So is it possible?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know because I used to do a die that I would just sit the die on top of my deck,
Right.
but that's technically numerical.
And it's note taking technically back then, but I don't think
And
it is.
and I was just doing that to remind myself I draw for beast, I draw for turn,
Right. Um,
or even library back in the day.
so using things like a token for like if you play Pete and no actions are allowed, you could put out a card that says, "Hey, Pete says no actions," and put it in front of your cards so that
Mhm.
it's a reminder for your opponent. Um, I don't know. You could do stuff like that again as long as it's not a number. You should be fine. Time limits. 2024 Swiss rounds were 45 minutes. That's because it was not best, but 2 game format. And now it is going to be 50 minutes with a recommended 60. And
So this
yeah,
is what I was gonna bring up when we
if
went
you
from
look
the
on
two.
the official website on the challenge page, the Swiss rounds for challenges will be 60 minutes.
Hmm, okay. I was just gonna say that that was the one thing I wanted to bring up from that 2 game to 3 game format is or best of three is you're going from 40 minutes to 50, recommended 60. but you're adding in a third round and then now making it, well, if you tie, then you just both get nothing essentially. It's like you gave us 5 minutes extra. Recommended 15.
Yeah. Well, you do get a point for a tie.
I won.
Well, you get a point. Yeah.
I want big boy points.
There you go.
What if you're blowing your opponent out of the water and you're at like 18 lore and they're at like 7 and you're on game 3? You're like, come on, man. There's no way this guy's gonna catch up.
60 minutes is going to be interesting. That's going to make for some long days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how I feel about the long days. It's like, let's just, make the game faster, I guess. I don't know.
Chess clock, chess clock, chess clock.
Get good. Win 2-0 all the time.
There you go.
There you go. Do that. Conduct and sponsorship. General sportsmanship only in 2024. And in 2025, new prohibited conduct list includes wagering, drugs, alcohol, harassment, and collusion. And sponsors and teams can be banned if linked to those things like gambling, drugs, alcohol, firearms, etc.
Firearms?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
So you can't get sponsored by a gun shop.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was like, but have they had problems with firearms before in the past, or wagering, or drugs, or alcohol? Like, I know there was an issue with collusion, but I'm like, was any of this happening beforehand?
I don't know, but it's interesting to me with alcohol because what if a local store wants to support a team and it's like, I don't know, a family-owned grocery store whose like favorite son is now on it, is playing TCGs and they want to support it, but they sell alcohol in the store. Does that count? It's not a liquor store, but they sell alcohol.
Yeah, I know. I went to a shop down in Seattle one time when we were down there. No, it wasn't Seattle. It was just outside. Anyways, Washington. And I just swung in there, and I was checking out all their Lorcana stuff. I look over and they got a fridge, and I'm like, "You guys sell beer?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we have it. We can sell beer here. So if you come in and play cards, you can sit down and have a couple beers." And I was like, "That's pretty cool. I don't see that up in Canada." And then it's like, well, what if that shop supports you and they sponsor you to go and do an event?
Don't know. Although it'll be interesting because I think that in order to become a Ravensburger OP store, you can't sell alcohol.
Interesting.
So they wouldn't be having Lorcana events there anyway. I mean, not officially, not with an OP kit.
Yeah. I was wondering if it's more if you are doing those things at an event and you get caught that the sponsors will then get banned.
I think
more
that
than
also
like if they just have it at the store. I don't know.
Blanket coverage to make sure that they can get rid of the people that they want to if they're doing those things.
Yeah.
Just get it in writing so that they don't have to like try and figure out how to make it fit within the rules. It's just in the rules.
Wait a second. What's something that they sell in DCA? Disney California Adventure, for anyone who doesn't know what DCA is.
I think they sell alcohol there.
I think they do. Interesting. The plot thickens. Banned.
I guess no events are happening in DCA anytime soon. Wait, there is one happening in DCA.
Currently.
Okay, so broadcast and media is the next one. 2025 introduces new rules. Players' implied consent to be filmed, restrictions on attire and third-party logos, participation in interviews, content may be requested. Again, just putting into black and white things that were happening already. Where people were getting their shirts covered or having to have them replaced, things like that. Travel and pricing, nothing in 2024. In 2025, players are responsible for travel documents like passports and visas. Organizers may provide stipends, prizes contingent on eligibility, compliance, and paperwork. Forfeiture possible if deadlines miss. So basically, fill out all your tax forms and all those kinds of things when they give them to you and when they want them, or else you will not get your prizes.
Interesting.
Something like that. I don't know.
I thought it was interesting that it said players responsible for travel documents, passports, visas, because it made me also think like, does this mean if you win um, a DLC that you'll get like an amount of money to book a flight or something like that, so that they can send you to the
Probably not.
that's
It's
because I
just
was like the way it
sure.
just kind of says responsible for your passport. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, aren't I responsible for booking my flight to get to Florida as well?
In some cases, yes, but based on what happened at World Championship last year, no. Or sorry, this year. The last World Championship where everyone had their travel paid for.
Ah, interesting.
All right, so that's about it. That's the big changes. The overall trend that he writes about is the 2025 rule set professionalizes Lorcana organized play. More tournament tiers, rotation and ban lists, standardized best of three, formalized judge powers, accessory and device policies, conduct and sponsorship restrictions, all of the full media travel pricing infrastructure, and the scope shifts from local competitive play toward a structured, broadcast ready global circuit. Because we're getting global DLCs this over the next year, and so they wanted to be ready for it. So that's all the highlights. It doesn't seem really like no major like massive changes. I think actually the electronic device policy might be the biggest change.
Mm-hmm. There's also one though that you didn't mention in there.
What?
That Rav Kyle came up and said after placeholder cards in Inkwell. This section has been removed and are no longer allowed. Login
Yes.
info tokens don't cover the use of placeholder cards in the Inkwell.
There goes my ink tokens. I used them.
Yeah.
I used them because I really just didn't want my hand getting confused with my inkwell.
Mm-hmm.
It was very convenient for that, and everyone's like, "Oh, I've seen all kinds of people yelling in the chat, like, oh, it takes you too long. It's a waste of time." And I'm like, it takes me as much time to send the card over to the side of the playmat and put a card into my inkwell as it does you, who leaves a card face up and then later in the turn turns it back upside right side down. It takes just as much time to do that.
Or even me, who's even worse, leaves it face up and then forgets to flip it over, and then it's your turn, and then I'm flipping it over while it's your turn, and it's like, oh, well, this guy's fidgeting with his cards. What's going on?
Right. Yeah. No. So the face up thing is still allowed. It just has to be, again, Benny, pay attention, has to be turned over at the end of your turn, by the end of your turn. So yeah, ink tokens out. That one hurts a little bit actually. I was really enjoying using ink tokens and just making everything so convenient for me on the board, very clearly defined.
Yeah, a couple of you guys had like some fancy ones there that you got from, I think, was it the Illumateers?
Oh yeah, the ink token cards.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool. No, I was using art cards inside Lorcana card sleeves. So the ones that have Lorcana card back on them, I was using those as ink tokens. So it looked like the back of a card turned upside down.
That
And
makes
then
sense.
my sleeves were whatever color sleeve I was using. So they could not be confused at all.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Interesting.
I don't know. It just seems like it's a good document to put out long before we're really getting into the DLC season, so people have time to get used to the new changes.
Yeah, it's nice to see that they're making attempts to improve things. So
Yeah, now
they want to keep everything as civil as possible. They want to make sure no one's having any problems with the rules. They're putting it out as quick as they can.
now just spend some time on the Play Hub, and I think we'll be good.
Yeah, I The thing that it's crazy to me though is like we had the app that keeps the score. It links us to a website so that we can see articles and stuff like that. It has the whole card list, and then you go and make a separate website instead of just adding it to the app.
It's going to be interesting to see how they do that. I think it might get integrated at some point. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think that they just need to. I honestly don't know what they need to do. I mean, I know that programming can be difficult, and I think that I saw someone discussing it in the official Discord today, and they're like, "Look, the back end probably is fine. It's just the interaction and the interface that is causing all the problems, possibly with user error, programming error for what things actually happen when they hit a button, versus what is supposed to happen. I don't know. They just need to work on it more, and I hope that's what they're. I hope they're spending a lot of hours uh, getting that thing up and running to be better than it is right now.
Mhm.
I mean,
And
2 weeks. Go ahead.
if anybody from Ravensburger is actually listening, please, please add one thing that we had in the last one. Please let me favorite a store so I don't have to keep searching for the store name every time I want to sign up. I just have my top 5 stores that I constantly go to that I can just, oh, there's an event on tonight. Add, add, add.
Yeah, exactly. It would be nice to be able to have a list of stores on my account when I log in to see them. Like, okay, where's the event for this week? Click in there and go sign up.
Because yeah, that made it so much easier. And then now it's like I just instead of even searching the store, because the number of times I've tried searching the store and then it doesn't come up because it's like, oh well, um, you know, Tomb Keeper, for example. I type in Tomb Keeper. It's like, oh well, you put a space in between Tomb and Keeper, or you didn't capitalize one of the letters, so it doesn't exist. It's like, what?
So here's my solution that I've found is the fastest way to find things, and that is to search by city, the city it's
Yep.
in.
As I say,
That's
that's
the
exactly what I do every single time.
Yeah, you just type in the city, find the first store, which is usually the store you're looking for, and then go into that, and then the newest event is sitting there ready to join, so you click on that. But still, that's a lot of steps, and then more
Oh,
typing than just getting into my favorite stores and clicking on the store and going from there.
well, I can't imagine like store like for guys like you and people living in like New York and all these other big cities, and it's like an event in Anaheim, and it's like 17 events show up, and you're like,
Yeah,
Meanwhile, I'm
exactly.
like, Mission BC. Oh, there is only one store. Hello.
Yep, that's for
uh,
sure. All right, so that's it. Another short episode today because there wasn't a whole lot of news. If you're paying attention to the meta game, definitely keep an eye on PPG Denver this weekend. And I mean, you don't really need to keep an eye on China because it's the Set 5 meta.
mhm.
but but if you see anything from it, look how cool it looks there.
I I kind of wish I was there right now because I love that green steel deck, and I could have just been eaten. Ah.
Oh, all right. That's it. That's all I got. I got nothing else.
All right. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on this magical journey. We hope you'll join us again soon. You know where to find us. Come on, you've been listening for 112 episodes, right? We finally done it. We finally passed the Citizens of Lorcana. Yeah.
Technically, I now have like 120 something episodes for my
Oh
belt
no.
combined. So
I have to wait till Dan goes on vacation to finally surpass him.
that's right. Like for 6 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All
I'll
right.
just do an episode every single day,
There
obviously.
you go. All right, guys. See everybody
Have
later.
a good one.